Welcome to the Conscious Classroom, where we explore the future of education and what it means to create learning environments that truly support human flourishing. I'm your host, Amy Edelstein. In each episode, we'll look at how mindful awareness and systems thinking deepen learning and well-being, why inner strength and self-regulation are essential skills for young people navigating our fast-changing world, and how do we thoughtfully integrate synthetic intelligence without devaluing the heart of our humanity. For educators, leaders, and anyone shaping the future of human development, you'll find practical tools and big-picture perspectives to increase your wonder and your impact. Let's get started. Hello, welcome to the Conscious Classroom podcast. My name is Amy Edelstein, and I'm happy to talk to you today about summer. School's out pretty much everywhere at this point, and for most teenagers, that means summer activities or summer jobs. For many parents, what it means is trying to help your teen figure out what to do and how to occupy their time. I've had the opportunity in my own start of the summer to slow down, to be in an environment where there's little that's happening. I'm in a much more rural place than I usually am in Philadelphia. Everything here moves slow. It takes longer to get things done. People eat slowly. They don't move slowly, but somehow it seems that the pace of life is the way summer used to feel when I was a child, that the days seemed to stretch forever and nighttime came late. And the feeling was that we're in this endless, happy day of sunshine and freedom. That's what summertime used to mean, at least when I was growing up. It's important for ourselves as adults and for our teenagers to allow space for the mind to roam. When we're too structured, when there's too much crammed into each minute, when we barely sit down to enjoy a meal, when we are racing from one event to the next, there's little room for our minds to just roam free. And when our minds have the opportunity to roam free, it's not that we're thinking about anything in particular, but when they have that space, things percolate. Problems get solved. Creativity starts to be born. And it can go against the grain because our postmodern life and technological life seems to be running faster and faster. So we're trying to keep up with the pace of machines, which isn't what the human mind is meant to do. Machines are meant to do that, and it's good that we have them, and it's good that we can partner and co-create with them. But the human mind needs space to roam and explore. It's like in the high mountains in the Himalayas, they take the yaks up to the high pastures in the summer, where there's even more space for them to roam. And I think that our minds need that, and especially young minds need that. They need to learn how to, on one hand, entertain themselves without being overscheduled and overstimulated and over-entertained. And they need unstructured time to be able to find themselves, find each other. Walt Whitman has this beautiful line, "I loaf and invite my soul." And that line of intentional loafing, of lying in the grass and inviting one's soul forward, is what summertime used to mean before we were overscheduled and overpressured. It meant time for teens to explore their emerging new forms of relationship and social life, time to explore themselves, time to think about the future, time to think about what life means. If you're in touch with teens, young adults in your life, the best thing you can do during the summer is to have some of this unstructured time together, to spend time not doing anything, to spend time just going for a walk, letting yourself explore new, alleyways, dead ends, and little streets that you hadn't looked at, parts of your neighborhood that you walk by without paying attention to, new parks in your city that you haven't visited for a long time, or sections of larger parks that you used to enjoy and you'd forgotten about. You don't need to look for the next big entertainment event, big activity. There's maybe a fountain to sit by and watch the water dripping, watching the people rollerblading or skateboarding. If you find that you're longing for this in your life, then probably those teens in your vicinity have already started to pick up from you that racing after oneself and racing after time is what adulthood looks like, is what growing up or accomplishing is meant to be. And so you really want to make the effort to reverse that. Where I am right now, which is outside of a big city and outside of the States, there were a bunch of older teens gathered to watch the World Cup in a little cafe where the TV was set up, big TV screen was set up outdoors, and everyone was sitting around with the families. And these two boys ordered these massive bowls of French fries, and they ate them one at a time, so slowly, just eating, enjoying each one, waiting, and then eating the next. And I watched them in amazement because my usual experience of teenage boys and French fries is the opposite of this type of leisure. And it struck me because it was more than just eating slowly. It was a sense of not racing towards the next experience, not racing towards the next bite, not racing to be finished and have the next thing, not in that hamster wheel of constantly consuming. And I found it very unusual to see older teen boys just doing that on their own, with no adult around, nobody telling them to mind their manners. And I really reflected on that quality that we want to bring to our young people. Meditation can really bring that forward. And by meditation, I don't just mean the formal sitting and counting the breath or watching the breath or abiding in open awareness or noticing sensation. I mean that quality of meditation where you sit down and you allow everything to be, and you experience the current of meditation so that the meditation is meditating you instead of you doing the meditation. when you can practice like that, especially in the summer, it allows your whole system to unwind from a school year, a work year. It allows your system to gather some slack and to prepare for what's next. And maybe what's next, if you're a teenager, is your senior year and colleges and SATs and applications. Maybe it's career choice and school and employment. Maybe it's who you're going to take to the prom. Those things loom large for our young people. And as the adults surrounding young people, our way of being is guiding them as much as our input, our vocal input. So why don't we take a moment right now to allow ourselves to drop into that space, to rest, to be easy, and to let that old-fashioned feeling of summer, maybe the summers of our childhood, come back. So if you're driving, please wait to practice this. If you're in a space where you can really let go, let's enjoy this guided practice. And let's take this as a way of being that we want to embody so that we can impart it to our young people, so that we can be exemplars of what it means to be and not to do, to know that we're enough, to have that sense of wholeness, and from that sense of wholeness and nothing missing, to find an incredible creativity and energy and space to explore and evolve, which is the attitude that we want to impart to our young people, that the future is bright, that there are possibilities, and that we, as we are enough. And we're enough because we're here, we're present, we're available. And when we're available for life, we find resources we didn't expect. So allow yourself to come into a comfortable but alert meditation posture, particularly with your spine tall, and letting the field of vision soften. You can close your eyes if you like or not, but release the constant input of the visuals from the field of your attention. We're turning inward. You can allow the breath to be your focus, letting yourself drop into yourself. And notice the moment you turn your attention inward, the way that time slows down, the way there isn't anything you need to do to be present. If you're thinking, you can allow yourself to be thinking and still be present. If your thought process slows down and you feel openness and spaciousness, you can also be present with that. Whatever's arising in your experience is fine, and none of it needs to be an obstacle to being present. And notice what happens in your experience as you become present to it, as you tend to it, as you accompany it. And notice how your effort to be with your experience makes you aware that your experience is already present with you. You can let your breath deepen if you like. And as you take a longer, slower, deeper inhalation and exhalation, allow your whole system, your spine, your back, your facial muscles, and the inner alertness that you maintain to release just a bit. Allow yourself to be content with your experience, whatever that may be. Maybe it's joy and beauty, and maybe it's grief and loss. Allow yourself to be in the fullness of existence. And as you rest in this fullness of existence, notice how there's nothing missing. Even if you're longing for someone who may not be present, you can be full and complete with that experience. And now turn your attention to the young people in your lives, or the young people that you think of often and want to support. Be present for whatever you sense. Their infectious creativity, or their confusion and meandering, searching. Let yourself be full as you tend to what you observe in the young people around you, without trying to change anything. Listening deeply with that inner ear. Slowing your experience down. Resisting the impulse to fix. Tending to and being present with what is. Being full in the experience of what is. And as you bring your attention back, allowing the formal practice of meditation to release If your eyes have been closed, you can open your eyes. If you've been disregarding all the input from the visuals, letting your visual sense come back into your awareness. And take a scan of your experience and notice the sense of groundedness, stability, gentleness, humility, and strength. This is what our young people have so little of in their environment. This summer, as you reflect on what a good summer experience will be for them, it's not to fill it full of activities. It's not to fill it with the most exciting thing you can imagine. It's not to schedule them from the moment they wake up to the moment they go to sleep. It's to really bring this sense of timelessness, of wholeness, of tending to, of being present with, of slowing down, of allowing summer to be a time of just ease. Just like the fruit trees and the vegetables, they've been planted. They're growing in the sun and the rain. They're doing their thing. Things are flourishing on their own. And allow that sense of being planted, being rooted, and flourishing to be the message that you transmit to young people this summer. That your ability to be present with their difficulties and their successes will give them the message and the skills that they need to be present for themselves when you're no longer in their immediate sphere, as they move on to young adulthood and full adulthood, as the relationship shifts. So this summer, take all the advice of the slow movement, thinking slow, eating slow, moving slow. Take all of that to heart so that you can be fully present and fully with your own life as it unfolds. And as a mentor, a relative, a teacher, or just a concerned adult, really wanting the best path forward for our young people. Let that path forward be informed by this wholeness that we discover when we're not leaning forward off balance, when we're allowing ourselves to tend fully to our experience, to be present fully to our experience. And in that, being present fully to those around us and transmitting the message that it's good to be awake and alive. It's good to be present and alive. It's good to be mindful and awake to our experience as it is. So I wish you a great summer, a great meditation, and a great time with all the young people in your lives. And I look forward to exploring next time. Till then, stay well. Thanks for joining me on The Conscious Classroom. If this resonated with you, please like, subscribe, and leave a review. It really helps other people like you find the show. And thank you so much for caring about the inner lives of young people and the future of education. I'm your host, Amy Edelstein, and I look forward to seeing you next time.